to welcome Alberto Yepez, the founder and managing director of ForgePoint Capital. Welcome to the show, Alberto.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I love what you do, educating the community and trying to help everybody figure out what we need to do and the challenges that we all share.
Absolutely. And we've in the past and this week, we've had quite a few of your portfolio on, actually. So your reach is far and wide across the security ecosystem.
We've been very lucky.
How's your BlackHat been so far? I know you've only just got in town.
It's been intense. You know, one of the things that we do at BlackHat is try to reconnect with a lot of the constituencies, which, you know, you have the innovators, the entrepreneurs, our portfolio companies, the buyers of technology, government. And so there's so many meetings, and we tend to hold events where we bring them together and just building community. It's been great. And I feel a lot of enthusiasm among the attendees working, and there's a lot of energy in the floor. And of course, there's a lot of challenges. Our sector has become more complex, and with the whole advent of AI, you know, we see a lot of interesting times coming into our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we could probably do a series of episodes on your portfolio itself. But what I'm really interested to dig into is how you've kind of built ForgePoint with slightly different focuses to other security VCs, and some of the things that you've prioritized heavily very early on that has allowed you to have the place in the market that you do. And one of the huge things is the talent piece. We obviously, as our core business being security recruiters, are seeing a big shift to the VCs now, really realizing that forging partnerships, having processes around talent is really beneficial.
Correct.
But you guys have been doing that since the beginning. So talk me through why you had the mindset of prioritizing talent so early on.
I think it comes from the fact that we are entrepreneurs ourselves and operators, and we know that talent is the key component for any business, right? If you don't have the right team, you will not be able to achieve the goals that you have. So, as you may or may not know, I ran 3 different companies. I bootstrapped my first company. I was brought in by private equity in the last one. But the constant key factor for success was the talent. And once you get to develop deep relationships, all of a sudden you de-risk on anything you do. So talent is a very strategic component and criteria. So when you ask VCs and saying, so what do you think about the sector and all that? And people talk about the company, but it's very quickly that you say, and the team is great. And the team has this experience. So I think, and you are in the talent business, but I always tell members of my team, entrepreneurs I work with, is we bring experiences and relationships to anything we do. So I said there's 2 things we have. We have context and we have contacts. Yeah, context is because all the accumulation of experience that we have makes us pretty unique, defined us. But what defines us really is the context that we have. Not necessarily just in the entrepreneur side, but in the vendor side and the people that buy technology. So every time that we evaluate, one of the key criteria is what's the team, what is their experience, and how well have they fit into the community, and that they will actually, whatever they set their minds to do, they'll be successful. There's always a saying, I'd rather work in a B-class opportunity with an A team than an A-class opportunity with a B team. Let me repeat. I'd rather work with a team, a B-class in terms of market opportunity with an A-plus team than an A-plus opportunity with a B team. Why? Because in the B opportunity, you can pivot and you can realize where the market needs based on your relationships. Eventually, you can always succeed. So talent is a key component and criteria for success.
The A team will figure it out and make it work, whereas the B team will mess up the best opportunity. And you obviously started your career very early on with Apple. and spent nine years?
Almost 10 years. 10 years, yeah.
So I can imagine the Apple then was a night and day to what Apple is now. But what did working closely with the Apple, the very early Apple team, teach you that you've built on in this career?
I think that innovation was key, and user interface will change one person at a time. It was all about the user experience, and I think that's what's carried on the company. And we kind of lost our soul for a while. I was there from 85 to 86 to 95, almost 10 years, and I think that towards the time in which I decided to leave the company, we kind of lost our sight because we lost the fact that at the end of the day, there's a consumer and the user experience is what matters. When Steve came back, he brought that back on his spades, right? And really reshuffled the team. And I think innovation is important, but always with a user-centered design. And consumers vote with their own experiences. We all carry iPhones, right? We all carry, Macs, and the user experience is incredible. So that's innovation, but always with the customer in mind, and designing in a way that is easy to consume, deploy it, and manage.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, thinking about ForgePoint today, you've got some real headline vendors in the portfolio, and I won't ask you to choose which one is your favorite, but kind of give us some of the highlight vendors that have been really stand out to work with for one reason or another.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the venture community, a lot of people associated with the Silicon Valley. I think what makes us different is we're global investors. Some of our best companies are started by entrepreneurs from Croatia. We had Reversing Labs. Mario and his partner, had a vision about how do you reverse engineer software, and now at the core of the software supply chain, delivering huge value to the multiple governments. Now, NVIDIA wouldn't ship any of their software if they don't scan it through Reversing Labs. That's one angle, a European success. And, core skills. We have Huntress, which is started by 3 guys that used to work in the basement of the NSA, doing hunting and working with, and trying to defend the nation. And they came back with a vision. We need to have the small business to have equal, if not better, technology to the bigger banks. And that vision carried forward to be able to do that. There were not companies in the Silicon Valley. It was in Maryland and DC, other one in Croatia. And just to complete the picture, there's a lot of open source communities that, sometimes you say open source, how does it play? Even though there's a lot of companies in the security sector that have been successful in doing that. But we were lucky to work with entrepreneurs in Spain. Is it really a hotbed for cybersecurity? Yeah, they have an amazing entrepreneur, a company called Alien Vault, that we relocated from Granada and Madrid to the Silicon Valley. The 2 founders came in, they checked in a hotel, never left. We raised 4 rounds after we did the Series A. Almost took the company public. It got acquired by AT&T. But what happens is all those contacts come back and you work together and you are better at it. So what defines ForgePoint is we are global investors. We don't necessarily look for talent in the Bay Area, which many VCs do. Obviously, DC is important. And, we have had some portfolio from Israel, but, I think there's a lot of people looking into that. We look at the off the beaten path, and we've been very successful to work with amazing people and entrepreneurs. And talent goes back to the same theme across the board. So that's what defines ForgePoint. And I just mentioned 3 or 4 companies that we were very proud of being able to work with and successful.
And it's funny you say the relationships come back because I interviewed Russell Spittler from Nudge at RSA, and he, in the very beginning of that episode, he gives you a very good shout out as well. So it's just proves your point.
And it's great to see them grow because as a VC, it's not about putting money and making bets. It's really about working with people, coaching them, mentoring to do better than what you ever did, because you have experiences and relationships that can help them avoid your mistakes. So I'm so proud of Russ and so proud of many of the entrepreneurs that work with. And that's the biggest satisfaction. Everybody says, the exits and the multiples. Yeah, it's important because our customers are investors. But at the end of the day, what drives me is seeing these people grow and he says, I was part of that journey.
Yeah.
And this is the whole mentality of ForgePoint, by the way. So at the core, we win as a team. It's not like one partner, one deal. We work together and we bring the whole force of the firm to help our companies.
And you told me that you also have kind of quite a unique approach in the venture space of how you help your team progress as well. And you'd said a few points around how much exposure early employees directly at ForgePoint get. So, yeah, talk me through that.
So, it's number one, breaking into being a venture capitalist is very hard. A lot of people call me, Alberto, hey, I'm interested in this business. I want to learn about it. So I always take the calls. And I said, this business is a long term, funds take about 10 years and all that. But these are the key skills required to be a successful venture capitalist. And I always go through, you need to help sourcing companies. But people talk about proprietary sourcing, which means relationships that are unique to you that you don't compete with others to win. But the second one is to compete for those deals with all the other venture capitalists and try to win. And I always say we win as a team. Number three, and perhaps the most important one, is once we put the money, the work just starts. Many people say, I want to deploy capital and that's it. No, it's the company building aspect of it. And there's so many things that we need to do, helping with bringing talent at every stage of they fit culturally and so on. But at the same time, trying to help with go-to-market strategies, product roadmaps, and everything else. And then eventually find the exit and the liquidity, which is the fourth element where this is how we get measured, and then eventually fundraising. But throughout, what we did is, so how are you going to be an effective board member if you never sat on a board? Even if you come from an MBA from the best schools in the world, by the time you walk into a board, you're a board member, you're scared. It's a foreign concept to you. So what we do, since we lead rounds, we always request for a board seat and an observer seat. Typically, the observer is somebody that is coming early in their career, but they observe and sitting around amazing entrepreneurs and amazing board members. So it permeates to be, what does a good member look like? So even our senior associates, they are the people that just join us. We just got a guy that came from MIT. He's sitting in 3 boards, sitting with some amazing investors and entrepreneurs.
Recently joined.
Recently, yeah. And so we tend to, give them that opportunity. And once they get to the principal level or partner, we say, why don't we swap and let you be the board member and we become the board observers. So it's putting a little bit of like a training wheels in a bike, so that they're the ones, representing the firm. But and the entrepreneurs trust you because they want to they already get the fact that once they have ForgePoint as a partner, they get 1 or 2 people, 2 people always, but doesn't matter who it is. They know they have the whole aspect of the firm. So for me, when I learned the venture capital skills, my co-founder was my mentor, Don Dixon. He'd been in venture for 20 plus years. He was an investor in the last company I ran. And he says the one that invited me to come in. And so there's many aspects of how you help people grow. And there's not a single school that prepares you to be a good board member or a good investor.
It's the exposure to real world experience. Is that pretty unique in the venture space?
I think people have noticed what we're doing.
So they're doing it now.
Yeah, it's like when we started the fund, we launched our advisory council. This was early in 2015. And there were some amazing CISOs that we worked with in the past as entrepreneurs, co-investors, people from government, the director of NSA, director of IDF, we build a community to help us source deals, grow those deals, et cetera. And I think that became a common practice. Now you talk to a lot of the VCs, says, we have our CISO council, or our advisory council is about 100 people, and it's not just CISOs or buyers or CTOs and CIOs. It has entrepreneurs that have been successful in the past that can become mentors or advisors. It also composes of people that have been professional board members or senior executives in companies, and then government officials. And that makes it a pretty unique approach, not only for helping the companies, but when we compete versus other venture firms that have bigger brands that have been more successful than we have been in general, and have been in this business for longer than we have. What makes us different is the talent and the people that we bring to the table to help them build up businesses.
Well, I've got no doubt the other funds will be copying your
it's
decision to build an internal talent
It's
team.
about time. And I think it became, I was an entrepreneur before. That became, say, somebody gave me a chance, but somebody has to mentor you and help you. So that permeates across the firm. And we have an amazing team that collaborates at every aspect of the faces of the companies.
Yeah, I know Carl Sharman well, and
Carl is amazing.
Yeah,
he kind of fit the culture right away.
Yeah, he'd because they were working closely with you as an external agency, and it's the large generalist VCs have been having their own internal talent teams for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in a small ultra niche fund, it's rare. So
it's critical.
But in 5 years' time, it might be just the norm. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But we're sitting here at BlackHat 2024. What do you see short term and then long term for the industry? I'm leaving that as a very ambiguous question.
But thank you. There's context to where the industry is today, right? We can talk the investor side has been very tough. Liquidity, people have been hard to raise money, because there haven't been that many exits, no IPOs. So there's a lot of companies stuck in the parking lot. So if you take the investor lens, there's so many companies. What about liquidity? Venture in private equity as an asset class may be something that is going to become stronger, because when things don't go well, the companies that surge or emerge from those type of environments become stronger. That's one. But let's talk about the cybersecurity industry as a whole. This is only getting more complex, right? AI has given advantages to companies to be more efficient. At the same time, they're giving a lot of advantage to the adversaries to actually become more sophisticated on the attack.
And a lot of headaches to buyers as well.
And buyers, but think about, so the threat is real. It's more complex. It's more sophisticated because now people are using AI in order to do that. So there's a lot of stuff that people talk about, more sophisticated phishing attacks. People talk about, we have elections in the world. We have more than 60, 70 countries going through elections, in the deep fakes, in the influencing campaigns and all that. That's what's really bringing about. There's one thing, the threat is real, and you see the hotbeds around the world. But at the same time, you also look at the digital transformation that many companies undertook because of COVID. And as they're transforming in the middle to do the cloud, now they had to use AI. So whatever it worked in the past, it no longer works, or it's a hybrid approach. And we're moving so fast that CISOs feel overwhelmed because they know they have to defend their business, but at the same time, they had to transform the business and protect it. Yet also there's a macroeconomic environment where perhaps may not be able to spend all the money, but also there's a bunch of threats around the world that are going to define what we have. So it's very interesting times, but great companies are emerging. And I think the best is yet to come. I don't think that there's any board where cybersecurity is not discussed as a critical item. It's probably the biggest existential risk of any public company and private company is a data breach that will tarnish their reputation or even just resilience. You look what happened to George and CrowdStrike, right? Yeah. They just went through an episode where, they're going to emerge well, but, they first need to say, okay, yeah, we didn't do the things we needed to do. We're going to do them. But now it defines what liability means. The cyber insurance world is a little bit nervous. We have a company called CyberCube that specializes in risk, quantification and helps insurance companies around the world to underwrite cyber. That area is just beginning to evolve because there's no actuary and data to be able to do that. So I see a world where innovation will continue to drive, the opportunities that come up with all this digital transformation and this threat that is real and is only becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
And, I really appreciate what you do. And again, talent is key. Remember, we all bring context and context. Context is our experience. Context is what defines us and is the core or the component for talented people.
Absolutely. Thanks you so
again.
much, Alberto.
We appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thank you for listening to the BlackHat 2024 edition of CyberBytes, the podcast. If you enjoyed it, then like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you're a candidate looking for your next role or a hiring manager looking for your next technical or go-to-market security hire, then reach out to us directly on info@asperonsearch.com.